Scientific Method Quiz. General instruction. Watch and understand this video. For the laptop users, copy and answer. Use Google Documents provided by your teacher in your own Google Classroom. Number 3. For smartphone, tablet, or iPad user, you may copy and answer in your notebook, then take picture and attach to your Google Classrooms. Number 1. In an experiment, the variable you keep the same is the blank variable. A. Independent. B. Dependent. C. Controlled. And letter D. No variable. Number 2. In experiment, the variable that is changed or made different is a blank variable. A. Independent. B. Dependent. And letter C. Controlled variable. Number 3. What is the information gathered by observations or experimentation when it is not called evidence? A. A scientific discoveries. B. A data. And letter C. A theory. And letter D. A variable. Number 4. An educated guess to explain a phenomenon is a blank. A. Experiment. B. Hypothesis. C. Science. And letter D. Radiation. Number 5. Colby wants to learn more about feeding habits of ants. What steps should Colby take to best study the feeding patterns of ants? A. Colby forms a hypothesis, conduct an experiment, record data, and make a conclusion. Letter B. Colby wants to conduct an experiment, form a hypothesis, make a conclusion, and record data. And letter C. Colby form a hypothesis, record data, conduct an experiment, and make a conclusion. And letter D. Colby record data, form a hypothesis, make a conclusion, and conduct an experiment. Number 6. Jackson and Mia wants to do an experiment to determine how the temperature of water affects how much salt can be dissolved in it. In what order should they perform the following steps? Step 1. With the teacher's help, bring the water in one of the beakers to the boiling point. Step 2. Pour equal amounts of water into 2 identical beakers. And number 3. Record how many half teaspoons of salts are completely dissolved in each beaker. And number 4. Gradually put salt into the water of each beaker as half teaspoon at a time. Letter A, 4, 2, 1, 3. And number 4, letter B, 2, 1, 4, 3. Letter C, 2, 4, 1, 3. And letter D, 1, 2, 4, 3. Number 7. A blank is a variable representing the value being manipulated or changed. A constant. B, an independent variable. And letter C, a control group. And letter D, dependent variable. Number 8. What is a hypothesis? A fact. B, an untrue statement. C, an educated guess. And D, something that cannot be proven. And number 9, Homer notices that his shower is covered in a strange green slime. Homer decides to spray half of the shower with coconut juice, thinking this will kill the slime. He sprays the other half of the shower with water. After 3 days of treatment, there is no change in the appearance of the green slime on either sides of the shower. What is the independent or manipulated variable in his experiment? A water. B, a green slime. And letter C, a coconut juice. And letter D, his shower. Number 10. The steps used by scientists to solve problems and uncover facts is the blank. A testing method. B, scientific method. And letter C, system method. And letter D, question method. Okay, since we don't have 11 class, just follow the numbers, number 12, okay? Number 12, what is the first step in the scientific method? A, an organizing data. B, forming a hypothesis. Letter C, asking a question. And letter D, gathering information. Okay, just follow the numbers. Number 13, a guess about what will happen is blank. A theory. B, a science. C, a greenhouse effect. And letter D, a prediction. Number 14, a written statement using the words if, then, is blank. A result. B, information. C, a problem. And letter D, a hypothesis. Number 15. How do you check whether the data supports the hypothesis? A, analyze the data. B, modify the experiment. And letter C, predict the outcome. And letter D, design the experiment. Number 16. A hypothesis is a testable idea or explanation that leads to scientific investigation. A, true. B, false. Number 17. The different factors that can change in an experiment are A constant, B, a variables, C, models, and D, controls. Number 18. In an experiment using the scientific study, the blank variable is the result that you measure. A, controlled, B, no, C, dependent, and letter D, independent. 19. A plan of inquiry that uses science process skills to gather, organize, analyze, and communicate information is the blank. A, inquiry process. B, investigative plan. C, scientific method. And letter D, information query. And number 20, what is the correct order of steps in the scientific method? A, you make hypothesis, test the hypothesis, analyze the result, ask a question, draw conclusion, communicate result. And letter B, ask a question, analyze the result, make a hypothesis, test the hypothesis, draw conclusion, and communicate result. And letter C, ask a question, make a hypothesis, test hypothesis, draw conclusion, analyze the results, communicate results. Letter D, ask a question, make a hypothesis, test the hypothesis, analyze result, draw conclusions, and communicate the result. That's all for your quiz. Thank you and good morning and good evening.